Hey everyone, welcome to episode 51 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivots. Before we get started, if you guys want, follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. Also, if you don't mind, rate and review the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, and wherever else you guys get your podcast. So this episode is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. Not only am I going to review this past week's episode of NXT, I'm also going to review and give a description of my experience at NXT Asbury Park from Friday night. So let's get started with this week's episode of NXT. The main event was Sami Zayn vs. Samoa Joe in a number one contenders match, which branched off the triple threat match from a couple weeks ago. We also have an 8-man tag going on, and this is the second taping from the UCF arena. So the show kicked off with the 8-man tag team match with the teams of American Alpha teaming with Enzo and Cass against Dash, Dawson, Blake, and Murphy. The match started with Gable and Dawson. Gable wrestled pretty much circles around him to start the match. A tag was made pretty early, and all 8 men entered the ring and brawled until the faces sent the heels out of the ring, and which led to the first commercial break. Back from break, Blake had the advantage over Gable. The heels wore him down immensely. It took a few minutes before he even got some hope into breaking away and getting to his corner. The crowd was behind Gable the whole time, though. They were cheering for him, clapping, everything like that, doing the Gable chants. He got the hot tag to Jason Jordan, who took out Dawson, Blake, and Murphy. Cass got involved as well. He sent Wilder over the ropes onto Blake and Murphy. American Alpha hit their finisher, but it wasn't enough. Cass and Enzo then hit theirs and got the win. First part of the match was very slow, with Gable taking the brunt of the offense from the heels. It just slowed the match down. You had some hope spots with him, but I think it took a little too long for them to get the hot tag. It kind of just dragged. And then the ending with all the sequence with the two teams. It reminded me of the 8-man tag match from the episode from Brooklyn, with I think the same teams, if not like switch sides. I'm trying to think, Dash Dawson. Anyway, it just had that same formula with the heels going, getting the offense early, and then the babyface team getting the finish. There wasn't really much of a story besides the already made feuds between Enzo and Cass and Dash and Dawson and Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, and Blake and Murphy. So those feuds going at it. But other than that, it was an alright opener as far as like getting the crowd going. I do like the pairing of American Alpha and Enzo and Cass, though. They do, like I said, with the backstage segment last week and this match, they worked well together. Alex Reyes interviewed Deonna Purrazzo, I believe that's her name, about facing Asuka a second time. Before she was finished, Dana and Emma interrupted and talked to her about respect and wished her luck against Asuka, because they know a thing or two about facing Asuka. Second match was Asuka versus Deonna. It shouldn't take long, but it actually did. They gave Deonna some decent offense because she was the out for redemption kind of thing, trying to prove herself that she isn't going to get knocked out again. Deonna was in control early. She landed some forearms, but Asuka no-sold it. She then slapped her across the face, and then Asuka had that nice, creepy smile across her face as well. Deonna jumped from the second rope, and Asuka kicked her in the ribs. She continued with an ankle lock, German suplex, and then transitioned to an armbar very quickly. She then finished her off with 3 spinning back forearms and a spin kick to get the win. Just her stiff movements, her stiff moves, they're just vicious. There's just no other way to describe it. She looks very, very stiff in the ring. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, she's obviously hasn't hurt anyone yet, and it just makes it look that much more realistic. And going from the ankle lock to the German suplex and then right back into the armbar, it looked easy to her, and it's just very fun to watch in the ring. After that, we got highlights of the Carmella Bayley match and the post-match segment. Ava Marie and Nia Jax cut a promo on Carmella, Bayley, and Asuka, so they have all the babyfaces in their targets. Third match was Alex Riley versus Ty Dillinger. Who the hell do you root for in this match? I think the hardcore fans are rooting for Ty Dillinger, but Alex Riley's on that comeback. He got his first win a couple weeks ago, so I just don't know which way to go. Alex Riley, in the meantime, got no reaction when he made his entrance. And he looks... The comparison I made is weird, but roll with me on this. He looks like he is related to Robin Williams, but the character he was when he came out of the closet in Jumanji. He's got this scruffy beard, long hair, and he just looks so unkempt. Riley caught, back to the match at least, Riley caught Ty Dillinger off the ropes with a clothesline and a huge knife-edge chop. Dillinger took Riley down with a Luthez press. Riley went for a full Nelson slam, or something similar to it, but Riley ducked and rolled him up and got the win. Riley was pissed. Dillinger looked surprised. He ran around the ring. The crowd was chanting 10, but that's the thing I don't get. They're not doing anything with either man, especially Ty Dillinger. They're not doing anything with him. So they give him the win when Alex Riley's on this comeback trail of his. It's just very strange to me. Unless they're going to turn him heel and have him frustrated or something like that because, one, he wasn't promoted or coming back, two, no one cared about him, and he didn't get the win here. So I don't know if they're going that route. I hope they don't have that much invested in Alex Riley. He's a good hand, but his character doesn't really do anything if he has a character. Alex Riley has interviewed Balor about the No More Contenders match. He talked about his match with Apollo Crews last week. He gave credit to both men on what they would do for the NXT Championship. Baron Corbin entered William Regal's office again. He pleaded his case to be put into the match. William Regal said he lost again, and the decision is final. Corbin said he believes in an eye for an eye concept. What is this guy's deal? He lost. He tapped out regardless of who submitted him. I get that restarting the match would make it a triple threat match, but he tapped out regardless of who put him in the submission. So move on, Baron Corbin. We then got word that American Alpha will face Blake and Murphy next week, and Carmella and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Eva Marie will be the main event of next week. I'd rather see the tag match in the main event because of American Alpha, but I guess Bayley is the number one babyface on the roster, so it kind of makes sense. This show actually flew by because we're already at the main event of Sami Zayn against Samoa Joe. To start off, Samoa Joe looked very confident while Zayn was a little timid in the early going. Joe grounded Zayn early. The hat guy, side note, that red hat guy, Rich, whatever his name is, Rick, he was in the front row, and I just had a question, where does this guy live, and what kind of money does he make that he could travel all over the country to watch these WWE and NXT shows? I've seen him a lot in the Midwest shows, like Ohio, Kansas City, those kind of shows, but then he's also popping up in Florida right now, and he'll probably be at WrestleMania in Dallas, so I just don't know. I just want to know what this guy does. Anyway, Zayn pulled the ropes down and set Joe to the outside. He went for a tope, but Joe moved and he feinted anyway, doing his little backflip thing. Back from the commercial break, Joe and Zayn were trying to get the upper hand. Zayn sent Joe into the corner with an arm drag. He ran at Joe, but Joe caught him with a one-arm slam and then kept him grounded again. Sammy got up and traded strikes. They went back and forth. Joe then took him down with a rolling chop block, and then he caught him with a kick. And Zayn stumbled around in the ring, kind of catch his balance, trying to, I guess, act like concussed, and he was like knocked out, similar to what Kevin Owens did to him. Zayn caught him off the ropes with a clothesline, and he connected with the second one. Joe kicked him, but Zayn came right back with the third clothesline. It's kind of sent Joe down to the mat. He went for the Blue Thunder Bomb, but Joe held his ground, and Zayn took his knee out and got him up for the move, which was a smart tactic, kind of take his knees out from under him. Joe hit an atomic drop, big boot, and senton splash combination. He landed a bunch of open palm strikes. Zayn took him down with an STO and went for the Koji clutch, but Joe escaped and hit his snap power slam. He then connected with the heel kick in the corner. Zayn came back with the exploder suplex out of nowhere. He went for the haluva kick, but Joe locked in the coquina clutch. He had him in the corner and then dropped him to the ground, kind of put all his weight on him. But Zayn escaped the muscle buster and hit Zayn with a haluva kick and got the win. But Zayn's shoulders were also down at this point, and Joe slowly maybe had a couple fingers, possibly his whole hand over Sami Zayn, and the ref counted. And he looked down, but he didn't know who he was counting the pin for. So we have another undecisive finish to this match, and William Regal came out. The ref said, he looked confused, he couldn't make a decision. Zayn raised his hands, but the ref put it down. Joe did the same thing. He tried to explain his case to William Regal. He said that his decision was a draw, and that's how the show ended. So we'll see what happens next week or the week after with William Regal's announcement. But they're dragging this out. I kind of wish William Regal made an announcement this week. I know I said that for the triple threat match. But I kind of just wish they made some sort of conclusion to give the fans something to look forward to instead of a question mark at the end. Overall, the show wasn't that bad. The main event was good. Obviously, they're holding back for the TV main events compared to what they would do on a TakeOver special. The Alex Riley, Ty Dillinger, I couldn't care less about. Asuka, the squash matches are good. I don't know if they're getting at that point with some people of being too one-sided, but when she's in the title feud with Bayley and thereafter, I think the matches will be a lot better. And then the 8-man tag was fun, but there really wasn't much of a story behind it. It was just more get all the teams out there kind of thing. Like I said, next week we have Bayley and Carmella against Nia Jax and Eva Marie, and we also have American Alpha against Blake and Murphy. So now we're on to NXT Asbury Park. If you guys aren't familiar, if you didn't hear me before, a couple episodes back, I do live down at the Jersey Shore, Brick to be exact, so Asbury was about a 25-minute drive for me, and when I heard that NXT was going to be there, I had to go. I was sitting on the floor, I think 6 or 7 rows back, to the right of the ramp, if you guys were there. So if You look on the stage, I was to the right of it. Floor seats suck. I'm going to put it out that way. They're expensive. It's good that you're close to the action, but everyone in front of you and behind you is in the same plane. You're all sitting in the same level chairs, and it sucks because you're trying to weave through people's shoulders and heads, trying to see the action. And when things go to the outside, out of the ring, you can't see shit. Everyone starts standing up, and you're trying to look over their heads. So if you guys go to a show, try to sit in the lower bowl where the seats are angled, not the nosebleeds. Then again, some of the arenas, the nosebleeds are actually not bad either. I was there for Extreme Rules 2013. No, Money in the Bank 2013 and Extreme Rules 2014. So sitting in those 200, 300 sections, you could still see the action. But sitting on the floor, I don't think it's worth the price, especially when you can't see over people's heads. But other than that, the card, there were 7 matches, 4 matches, then an intermission, and then the 3 after that. It kicked off with Asuka and... who did she face? Asuka and Alexa Bliss. For some reason, I didn't think Asuka was going to be there because I looked that NXT had a show in Florida the same day, and they were advertising Asuka. So when her music hit, I got really excited. Whatever anyone says about her when they're watching her on TV, in person, it's just the same. She's attractive. She's very good in the ring. Wasn't a lot of comedy in this match, a little bit in the early going, but it was a good match. I think Asuka grabbed her and locked her in. Asuka locked to get the win. Second match was Apollo Crews against my favorite wrestler, Alex Riley. Alex Riley was getting dueling "Let's go Riley, Riley sucks" chants, and I think that may be the highlight of his career. Anyway, decent match as well. Alex Riley is big, but he's just got no character. The crowd was booing him. He was playing into that, which was nice, because like I said about the show on Wednesday, I think they're going to turn him heel or have him heel tendencies. But Apollo Crews won with his modified Blue Thunder Bomb, the tossing power bomb thing. Third match was another women's match, Carmella versus Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce had a Poison Ivy look to her, the DZ character, not the actual plant. She came out with the flower. She was sniffing it every time she got the upper hand on Carmella. The referee took it away, and then Carmella used the flower and did the same taunt. Kind of stupid, but at a house show, it's that playful comedy stuff that they do. Carmella won with her leg scissors submission as well. So I think both women's matches so far were decided by submission. After that came the loudest pop of the night when Enzo and Cass took on the Vaudevillains. I have video footage of the entrance, and every person in that crowd was going along with Enzo and Cass. They sang a little Jersey Boys. They were dancing. It was a good time. It was actually, I don't know if it was my favorite match. Yeah, it might have been my favorite match. I liked it a lot. Enzo and Cass, super over. Cass is from Brooklyn or Queens. Enzo's from Jersey. So they had the home crowd right behind him. And at this point, it was the intermission. I don't even know if I mentioned it, but Cass and Enzo won with the rocket launcher, whatever they're calling it. So yeah, intermission. I think it was like a 25, 30-minute break. And then we came back to the worst possible way with the Drifter, Elias Sampson. He began singing. He was making fun of Jersey. The crowd booed him. Speaking of the chants, the crowd was great. There were some people behind me that had some really good one-liners. During the Cass and Enzo match, someone yelled out, "Lego my Enzo." Best thing I've ever heard. Never heard it before, and it was hilarious. But back to the Drifter. I really didn't care. He was making fun of Jersey, obviously, as a heel. The kids in front of me was pretty funny. They were like, I think they were making fun of his guitar playing or learning to play guitar. They were into it. The kids were into it, which is nice to see. He was going up against Austin Aries. Last time I saw Austin Aries in action was actually in the same place, the Asbury Park Convention Hall, when TNA was there in August of 2008. He looked good. The crowd was behind him a lot. The crowd was hoping for a guitar spot there, either Alex Riley, not Alex Riley, Elias Sampson getting himself disqualified, or Austin Aries using it afterwards. Austin Aries won with like a 360 forearm elbow kind of thing. Sixth match was Bayley defending her NXT Women's Championship against Ava Marie. The crowd was all over Ava Marie. They were booing her. You can't wrestle, that kind of stuff. Bayley, possibly the second loudest pop of the night. Maybe third behind Sami Zayn. Ava Marie was in control for most of the match. They went to the outside a little bit. Ava Marie was working over her arm, throwing it against the steel post. But Bayley came back, hit the belly to Bayley suplex. Out of nowhere, actually. She kind of popped up and just connected with it and ended the match. There really wasn't much of a comeback for Bayley. The last match was a tag team match between Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin against Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. Really good match, a lot of action, a lot of in-between going on between the four guys. You had Baron Corbin facing Finn Balor and Sami Zayn, and then Samoa Joe doing the same thing. So a lot of intermingling between the four main eventers. Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin were working over the ankle, because I think, Finn Balor worked in Philly, and I think that might have been his first match since the ankle injury. So they were working that over. He was selling it, but he was fine after the match, so it's not anything important. But I believe they won after he hit Bloody Sunday, I believe. I don't think he hit the coup de grace. Or he did, but they might have kicked out. But anyway, Sami Zayn and Finn Balor got the win. And after the match, they were celebrating, and Sami Zayn went to put on Finn Balor's jacket. He was teasing it a little bit, and then he did it. And then Finn Balor put on Sami Zayn's jacket and his little his hat as well. And Sami Zayn was doing, you know how like Finn Balor opens his jacket to show the NXT title? Sami Zayn was doing it, but he didn't have the title, so it looked kind of creepy. And they were playing along with that. And at the end, they did the Wolfpack sign and ended the show. Overall, great experience. If you guys get a chance to see NXT live, I don't know where they're touring after this, but I would definitely do it. It's a great show. The athletes are great. It's much better than going to a WWE live event. They have a really deep roster, and the kids are there. They're enjoying it. Girlfriends are enjoying it. Boyfriends are enjoying it. Everyone just seemed to have a good time at the show. Loud NXT chants throughout it. The crowd was really involved, especially in that area. Jersey, there was people that I heard came down from New York, up from South Jersey. So just everyone all over was enjoying the show. All right, so that was episode 51 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. Join me back next week with episode 52. Peace.